Hello, my dear students. Are you ready to discuss all the possible questions from Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7? So I have tried to implement as many questions I can from the scene so that no matter what question comes, you will be able to answer them. So let's begin. The first question: what is Macbeth contemplating at the beginning of the scene? A. The different ways to murder Duncan. B. How to persuade Lady Macbeth to join his plans. C. Whether or not to assassinate Duncan. Or D. To renounce his ambition to become the king. So I hope you know the answer. The answer is C. Whether or not to assassinate Duncan. So he's in double minds now. He is contemplating whether to murder Duncan or not. Next question. Under what circumstances would Macbeth be ready to put his soul and his afterlife to risk and commit the murder? So, under what conditions? So, if the assassination of King Duncan would be caught up like in a net, sweeping up the consequences and have no after effects, then he would gladly commit the crime. Also, if he would be assured of his success at the end of everything, he would get it over with quickly. So the first is he does not want any consequences for his actions. We think if the consequences would be swept up or caught up like it would be in a net, and there would be no after effects of his actions. And if he would be assured of his success at the end of everything, he would immediately commit the crime and get it over with. But by committing violent crimes in today's world, what consequences is Macbeth talking about? So, but we realize, no, after that, Macbeth is saying that, but in today's world, we have to face judgment or there will be consequences for our actions. So, what consequences is he talking about? So, I've written it in bullet points so that you can remember better. First is he's saying in this world there still exists judgment for their actions. There is judgment. There is consequences for their actions. By committing violent crimes, we teach others to commit crimes. And those violent actions of students will come back to plague us teachers. So he's saying that when we commit violent crimes, we teach others to commit such violent crimes, and at the end, whom we have taught to, they will come and plague us back and they will commit crimes against us. The third, he's saying that justice is even handed. Even handed means impartial or unbiased. So he's saying that since justice is impartial, it forces us to drink from the poisonous cup that we serve others. So he's saying that if I try to kill King Duncan, then justice will try to make it impartial and I will also be killed. Why does the king have double trust in him? A. He is a kinsman. B. He is from a royal family. C. He is the king's subject. Or D. He is a noble and brave person. So there are two reasons. First is because he is a kinsman, and second because he is the king's subject. Yes. Moving quickly to the next question. What reasons does Macbeth give for not deciding to kill King Duncan? Again, important question. So make sure you go through this twice. So what are the reasons that he gave? First is, since he is a kinsman and his subject, he should try to protect the king. Second, since he is the king's host, because the king has come to his palace, he should be closing the door in the murderer's face and not killing him himself. because he's the host. He should try to protect the king rather than kill him himself. Third, Duncan has been a meek and a gentle king and leader. And fourth, he has been free from any corruption or wrongdoing. So King Duncan is a meek and gentle king who has not involved himself in any form of corruption or wrongdoing. So he feels bad for trying to kill King Duncan. So these are the 4 points. I hope you remember them. Next, if he dies, what would his virtues and pity do? He here is King Duncan. Again, important question. If King Duncan dies, then his virtues will plead like angels and cry out like trumpets against the injustice of his murder. So virtues will cry out like trumpets and plead like angels against the injustice done to the king. Then pity, like an innocent newborn baby, will ride the wind like a winged angel on invisible horses in the air and spread the news everywhere. Then, after the news has been shared everywhere, tears would be shed by the people that would drown the wind like horrible downpour of rain. Again, very important. You would have to rote learn this part. Okay, so this is about virtue and pity. Why can't he spur himself to action? He here is Macbeth. Why can't he spur himself to action? A, he's a coward. B, his only motivation is ambition. C, he feels sorry for the people and the king's sons. Or D, ambition often causes leaping into actions and they fall into tragedy. So Macbeth is saying that he can't spur himself to action because his only motivation is ambition. And many a times when people are ambitious, they leap into actions and they often fall into tragedy, or which leads to their downfall. And that is why he can't spur himself to action. Next, which reason does Macbeth not give Lady Macbeth for not proceeding with the plan? So in this 3 answers he says for not proceeding with the plan, but there is one which he does not mention, which is that A, he feels pity for the king as he is a meek person. B, the king has honored him and earned good opinions from people. C, he wants to bask in his new honors while it's so fresh. D, he does not want to throw away his new honors so quickly. So there is one that he doesn't mention to Lady Macbeth. I hope you know the answer. It is A. He does not say that he feels pity for the king as he is a meek person, but he says that the king has honored him and that has earned good opinions from people, and that he wants to bask in his new honors while it is so fresh and does not want to throw away something that he has got so quickly. Next one. Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale, and what it did so freely? So this is what Lady Macbeth says to Macbeth. But what does Lady Macbeth mean in the above line? Lady Macbeth admonishes Macbeth, saying that was he drunk when he seemed so hopeful earlier and then went to sleep, and when he woke up he was so pale and green and fearful of the actions that they planned to do. So first he's asking, was he drunk? And did he go to sleep and get up all pale and cowardly of the actions that they planned to do? What is the ornament of life that Lady Macbeth is talking about? Does she call him a coward? If yes, prove. Now, many a times I've seen answers of students saying, if yes, prove. So they'll just go and write no so that they don't have to prove. So if you get a question, if yes, prove, most probably the answer is yes. Okay. Lady Macbeth asked Macbeth if he would seize the crown. So the ornament of life is the crown that he desired so much, or if he would act like a coward and say, I can't, after saying, I want to. And she compares him to a cat from an old adage that wants to eat the fish but does not want to get its feet wet in the water. So, yes, she calls him a coward. Okay, moving to the next question. What does vaulting ambition which overleaps itself mean? A. His ambition is restricted by his love for the king and loyalty. B. His ambition can make him do things and have his downfall. C. His ambition will guarantee his success. Or D. He, along with his ladies' support, can reach any heights of success as they are ambitious. So, what does vaulting ambition which overleaps itself mean? So, he says that, if he is ambitious, his ambition can make him do things and have his downfall or can lead to tragedy. Yes. Next. How does Lady Macbeth convince or manipulate Macbeth? A. By reminding him of the witch's prophecy. B. That he is meant to be the king and he has to take actions to achieve it. C. By threatening to leave him. Or D. By mocking his masculinity and calling him a coward. Yes, the answer is D. By mocking his masculinity and calling him a coward. Next, when Lady Macbeth mocks his masculinity, what does Macbeth reply to her? So he says that he only does what is appropriate for a man to do, and who dares to do more is not a man at all. That is what he says, right? After that, Lady Macbeth replies something. So what is Lady Macbeth's definition of a man? So she says that when you dare to do it, that is when you are a man. And if you take one step further and do the actions in order to become the king, then you would be much more than a man. So she's saying that if you dare to do what you intended to do, then it is only when you are a man. And if you take steps to become the king, then you would be much more than a man. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. What are the they that Lady Macbeth talks about, and what circumstances has unmake him now? So they have made themselves fitness now. So what is the they here? So they here means time and place. So she's saying the time and place weren't right before. Even if the time and place weren't right before, he would have gone ahead with the plan of murdering Duncan. But now, both the time and the place is perfect and it is too good for him. And she's saying that maybe the perfectionism of the time and place has unnerved him to act, or the perfectness has unnerved him to act. So the they here is time and place. If Lady Macbeth had made a vow like that, what would she do to the nursing baby? Again, important part. Lady Macbeth says that she knows how affectionate it is to love the child that depends totally on her nourishment. But if she had taken such a vow, she would rip her nipple from the mouth of the toothless baby and smash its brain out even while the baby was smiling at her. So she's saying that she would do anything to make sure that the plan is implemented even if she had taken a vow like that. Macbeth says, if we fail, so Lady Macbeth says, if you screw your dash to the sticking place, we'll not fail. There's one word which she uses here. What is that? A, determination, B, valor, C, courage, or D, mindset. She says, if we fail, if you screw your courage to the sticking place, we'll not fail. Next. What is the plan proposed by Lady Macbeth to kill King Duncan? A. To kill the Chamberlains and then kill the king. B. To poison King Duncan's drink. C. To bribe King Duncan's attendants so that they will kill him. Or D. To intoxicate the attendants and frame them for murdering the king. So which is the answer? The answer is D. Yes, they will intoxicate the attendants and then frame the attendants for murdering the king. What is Lady Macbeth's plan to kill King Duncan? First, again, very important. Please pay attention, and so that the answer will be easy, I have written it in bullet points. First, when King Duncan is asleep and would sleep soundly as he would be exhausted from the day's journey. So once King Duncan is asleep and he would sleep soundly, she will make sure that his two chamberlains, that is the attendants, will be heavily intoxicated by wine and ale to the point where their memories will be impaired so that they will not remember anything. Then when they lie in their piggish sleep, so drunk like they are dead to the world, they could do anything to the unguarded king. Once they have murdered the king with the weapons of the attendants and smeared blood all over them. Now them here means the attendants. Everyone would blame them, is the attendants, as the culprits, and no one would doubt Macbeth or his wife. Or you can write, no one would doubt anybody else. Finally, she says that they would wail and cry so loudly when they hear the news of King Duncan being murdered that people would not believe that it has happened any other way, and doubt will not come on them. Again, important question, so go through that once again. Why does Macbeth say, may you bring forth men, children only? So Macbeth was so impressed by the plan of Lady Macbeth that he says, may you only give birth to male children as your fearless mettle or quality should create nothing but males. That is why he says that. What does mock the time with fairest show? False face must hide what the false heart doth know. A. Your heart should not know what your mind is thinking. B. Deceive everyone of your true intentions. C. Hide your evil heart with a false pleasant face. Or D. No matter what, do not confess your guilt. So these are the words said by Macbeth towards his wife, Lady Macbeth. So what does he say? He says, make sure that you deceive everyone of your true intentions and hide your evil heart with a false pleasant face. Yes. Next question, which is the last. Once Macbeth is convinced with the plan, what does he say his actions will be? Macbeth says that he is now fully convinced and he will exert all his strength and every muscle in his body to commit this crime. Once he is convinced with the plan of Lady Macbeth. So he's saying that he will exert all his strength to make sure that this plan is implemented. I hope you are really thorough with this scene, and that is the end of Act 1. So until I meet you with another video, study well and make sure you share this video with your classmates because sharing is caring. Yes. Thank you so much. God bless.